Now that's more like it. That is more like it. The Oilers 6-2 winners over the Colorado Avalanche. Are they contenders, Oil Country? You tell me, because a couple of days ago, I kept hearing how they were pretenders and they were going to get their butts kicked by the Colorado Avalanche. And look what they did. They totally redeemed themselves. 6-2 is the final. Welcome to the Oil Stream postgame show, live on location at a bumpin', raucous, excellent Hudson's White Avenue. I have to say, I am very impressed. This is good. This is like creeping towards summer vibes, and the Oilers win tonight only adds to that. So a big thank you to VR Montenegro, Norman Acombine, his lovely wife Tracy, and Richard for stopping by, hanging out, keeping yours truly company, and great time indeed, as well as there's a lot of people here enjoying the Oilers game, and then soon to enjoy the dance floor as we kick off the weekend, and the Oilers do it in style. Tom Gazzola, YouTube Trev, Matt Kassian with you. Text us 780-218-9999. If you're watching on YouTube, get into the nasty chat and let us know your thoughts. Edmonton 6-2 win over the Colorado Avalanche. Let's get Matt Kassian up here and see to go. I'll go through the summary. Some thoughts of Cass. I think ask him this or in the nasty chat. All right. Begin with the morning summary. In the first, Corey Perry gets 11th of the season. One for the Oil at 152 in great redirection by Perry off the Darnell Nurse shot. Ceci the secondary assist. However, Jonathan Drouin would tie it up 10 minutes later. Drouin's 18 from McKinnon and Rutinen. And this is going to be a battle all night long because Ross Colton would give the Avs the lead briefly. His 16th of the year from Lehkonen and Makar at 15:59. But before the period was up, Connor McDavid would get his 30th goal of the season. Matias Ekholm, who had a huge night for the Oilers, picking up the first assist. Leon Draisaitl, the secondary assist. Give Draisaitl 100 points on the season on McDavid's 30th, coming at 17-18. We're even up at 2 after 1 in the middle frame. Matias Ekholm, who absolutely rocked Mikko Rantanen, knocked him out of the game with a very clean hit. Also chips in with a goal. His 10th kind of goes off of him. And there would be a goalie interference challenge from Jared Bednar and the Avalanche. It would not go the Avs' way. They end up with a penalty, lose their challenge. That's important for later on. Draisaitl and Bouchard the assists on Ekholm's 10th at 8:55. Then it would be Evander Kane snapping the goalless drought at 21 games. Kane gets a fortuitous bounce. You thought, hey, maybe they're going to review it. Did he kick it in? They couldn't review it because they lost their review. The Oilers get the 4-2 lead at 19:58. Assist to McLeod and Ceci as we head into the third period. And in the last frame, Connor McDavid, second of the night, 31st of the year at 4:05 from Evan Bouchard and Zach Hyman to make it 5-2. And then Evander Kane for good measure, his 23rd of the season, second of the night from McLeod and Kulak to make it 6-2 at 11:59. Shots on goal, 46-23 in favor of the Oilers. Face-offs, 66.1% to 33.9 in favor of the Oilers. Power play, 0 for 5. PK, 3 for 3. We'll talk about that with Cass. Hits, 34-18 in favor of the Avalanche. Block shots, 11 for Edmonton, 9 for Colorado. Giveaways, officially 15 for the Oil, 12 for the Avs. Takeaways, 13-7 in favor of the Oilers. Let's get him on here. Matt Kassian, our game analyst, to break it all down. The Oilers 6-2 winners over the Colorado Avalanche. Cass, you were talking about Darnell Nurse, Leon Draisaitl, and you wanted to see some responsible play from the Oil tonight. And what did we get?
Hey, we got a heck of a game. They're winning the cup, Tom. They're winning the cup. Ain't nobody going to stop them. Ain't nobody can stop them. and everyone's back on the bandwagon and excited and going crazy, and forgets that they were just on the verge of complete mental breakdowns after the game against Dallas. But tonight, Tom, you got some good depth play. You got Matias Ekholm being an monster, which I love. Fantastic. Vicious hit, clean hit, good hit, well timed by Matias Ekholm, and it will be interesting to see. That could hurt Colorado, depending on what it is. If it's anything that keeps Rantanen on the lineup for a long time, you did get the depth. You had a lot of people.
Yeah, I had to switch up my microphone. Let me.
Oh, there you are, nice and clear, Cass.
I told you this thing. My computer sometimes it was trying to pull it from the new webcam, so blame it Wannick. And I was yelling really good too.
You sounded great either way.
Either way, that's all right. We got it fixed. We're good now. Thanks for the heads up, Zach, to come, or maybe it was TG, whoever it was that.
It was me. It was me.
But boy, oh boy, yeah, you get the help from your depth. Evander Kane off the schneid. Did he kick it in? Did he not kick it in? 100% he kicked it in. Should have been called back. If they had a challenge, it would have been called back. Who cares? He gets the goal, and Edmonton kind of lays a smackdown after they played a really good first period and just a few opportunities for the Avalanche, and they pot them. Looks like the game's going to be tight, but Edmonton just kind of stuck with it. Tommy, complete game, yes or no?
Cass, I would say yes, like right from the outside, even though Colorado pushed back. Even when the Avs took that 2-1 lead, I didn't worry. I didn't think that the Oilers were breaking or anything like that. As soon as they went behind, Edmonton did, I thought to myself, okay, they're in for a battle. And instead of a battle, they ended up just taking over.
Yeah, they really did. And it was nice to see, especially as a rebound game coming out of that game against Dallas, where we weren't thrilled with the effort. They weren't thrilled with the effort. Ain't nobody thrilled with that effort against the Dallas Stars. They come out and Tommy, have a really complete game, like really, really solid. And some of the depth guys, as we talked about before, they had a good game too. A couple drawn penalties. Derek Ryan draws the penalties. It was some good time in the offensive zone. I thought their forecheck was very solid tonight. Which usually is a pretty good indicator that they are that they're on it, that they're engaged in a hockey game. And it was wall to wall, Tommy. Just a complete game from the boys.
I'll give you that, Cass. I'll stand by it every day of the week after a performance like that. All right, I want to bring up this guy. I said it. He had a monster game. It was Matias Ekholm, a goal and assist +1. 4 shots, 4 hits, 21-33 time on ice. Some big boy hockey cast from Ekholm.
Yeah.
The hit on Rantanen, I had no problem with. I was looking to see if he clipped him in the head or anything like that. I think he hit him hard, and then the way Rantanen absorbed the hit, or didn't, took him down, and he hit the ice really hard, had to be taken out of the game. I thought that was a guy asserting himself, and that's exactly what you need in playoff hockey. Am I fair to say that?
Oh, 100%. There is a reason that myself and Joaquin Gage and Dustin Nielsen all picked Ekholm as probably being the most important guy for the Edmonton Oilers in the playoffs. Because of plays like that, like of what he's capable of doing, not just making Evan Bouchard a better player, because he does, but just being a defensive monster. Just being a monster like that. He was not fun to play against. He was involved offensively. He didn't make mistakes defensively. Although I think on the one, I'd have to pull it up again. I think on one of the goals, he kind of gets caught on the wrong side of a guy. I think that was the second goal. Yeah, it was the Colton goal. Kind of gets caught on the wrong side of a guy a little bit on that one. I think that was him. I'm just pulling it up here again. Yeah, it was him. So a little bit of a mistake on that second Colorado goal where he gets caught on the top side of it. But really, yeah, Ekholm was an absolute monster tonight.
780-218-9999. Text us. The Oilers win 6-2 over the Colorado Avalanche. A great response after their loss in Dallas on Wednesday night. And if you're watching, get into the nasty chat. You saw Norman at Combine peek in and say hello to everybody from outside, and his lovely wife Tracy. Thank you again to them for coming out via Montenegro. was also here, and so too was Richard. So get those texts in, questions, concerns, thoughts. We want to hear from you as much as possible. One more before we go over to the Nasties and get their thoughts and bounce them off of you, Cass. Evander Kane, a couple of goals. You alluded to it. The one, if they had their challenge left, Colorado probably would have had it called back. But the fact of the matter is, it counts. It holds up. Them's the rules. And I thought he was very effective tonight. What did you see from Evander Kane?
Yep. He played playoff hockey, which is what we've been waiting for like a month and a half to see. So, does this spark him? I hope. Like if Evander Kane can play at that level, the third line is so much more impactful. And this team is so much better because they just instantly have depth. Now, if he's, kind of floating around and not really crashing or banging, not getting pucks to the net, not kicking pucks in, the team's still good.
Yeah.
But they're not nearly as good. Like when he is at his best, that third line has depth and it can be challenging for other teams to play against. When he's not, they're not. And it really is. He's such an impactful player because of that, because he is the guy really on that third line that is supposed to be the game changer on that line. The wild card on that line that makes defensemen look over their shoulders and frustrates people. And, he did that tonight, which was, again, great to see because he hasn't done it in a while. So, hey, welcome back, Evander Kane, and let's keep it going.
Before I go to the Nasties, really quickly, DJ's over there, dude. And before I go to the Nasties, how about his line mates in Corey Perry and Ryan McLeod? Because I also thought that they kind of fed off of his energy.
Yeah, well, but that's why he's the cog in that line, right? Like that's why he is the most important player on that line, is because he's going to pull that out. And if it's, depending on who the center is, if it's McLeod, he makes McLeod play bigger and more physically engaged. Like when he's engaged, it pulls McLeod into the fight. Now Perry is going to always try to be involved, but it's almost like it takes a burden of being the primary off of Perry, where he doesn't feel like he has to be the only guy that's driving the line, that's pulling the line, that's trying to get engaged and trying to be physical and getting around the net and buzzing. And like, he's not the only guy in that instance. And Evander can do it better than Perry at this point in his career. So having him do it just pulls out the best in those other two. So yeah, it's not surprising to me that when Evander Kane has a night, that those other two guys have a night too, because he's going to pull them along for the ride. That's why he's so crucial to the success of this team and to that third line in particular.
All right, let's go into the inbox, 780-218-9999. And then, of course, Nasty Chat, do your thing as the Oilers win it 6-2 over the Colorado Avalanche. We want to hear your feedback because I feel like it's going to be pretty positive tonight compared to what we experienced on Wednesday after that 5-0 shellacking in Dallas. Let's go here. The Oilers, by the way, do clinch their playoff berth with that victory tonight. Let's go to this. Mark starts us off. Mark says, hard work, good effort, easy win, good job, Mark. Well said. Appreciate that. C-Mac texting in says, the lines work tonight, the skilled line, the shutdown line, the a-holes who can score, and the muckers and the grinders. Defense chipped in. Stupendous net. Have a fun night, everybody. Compliments of C-Mac. Hockey Girl texting in. Hockey Girl says, thank God that Kane scored. Hopefully this awakens the beast within and we don't have to deal with pouty bitch Kane anymore. Also, P.S. from Hockey Girl. Recently, I got my sister into hockey. She's very into skitter. She's so excited to watch her first Battle of Alberta. P.P.S. I love that Tommy discovered the button, and everyone at ESD is a boss, especially YouTube Trev. Oh, thank you, Hockey Girl. And I got my bleep button going. Bad Billy texting and says, hey, Tommy and Cass, great bounce back win in a dominating fashion. Nice to see Kane pop a few for sure. The Viking was a savage beast tonight. Skinner was very solid, and it was nice as well to see Ryan in and have a great game. McDavid was himself. Notice the D was not pinching as much tonight after last game's pinching debacle. Onto the Battle of Alberta, hopefully with another strong performance. That's from Bad Billy. Cass, the defense as a whole, I know we highlighted Matias Ekholm, and rightly so, but the defense as a whole, how would you assess the way they played following Bad Billy's text there.
Yeah, strong game. Cody Ceci, great game. Trade him now. Says
Stop
everybody.
it. Just stop it.
No. Ceci had a good game too. Would have been nice. He hits the post on the rush. Good shot, good release. But they were solid. I mean, we can't really point to any one of them and say that they were horrible. I mean, there was even a shift for Vinny Desharnais coming off the penalty kill where he blocked a big shot and it turned into a 2-on-1 opportunity the other direction because of it. And I'm like, that's why. You're not necessarily going to get that from Stetcher off the penalty kill. Yeah. So for all the people that were like, Stetcher needs to be in there, you were wrong. Knobloch was right by not dressing him, by dressing this lineup. The defense played very well tonight, and they had good support. The forwards supported well. Very few instances where they were caught with too many forwards down low in the offensive zone. Like they did a good job of getting back, of backtracking, didn't really give up. I'm trying to think of the total number of odd man rushes against. There wasn't very many. I'm trying to
Cassian, they seem very much in control, like just general observation.
Yeah. No, very much so. And they felt like it. Like I guess Colorado did have the lead, but what a difference of response tonight as opposed to Dallas.
Absolutely. 6-2 Oilers winners over the Avs. 780-218-9999 or the Nasty Chat. Let's see what's going on with the Nasty Chat. Cass, are you yelling at anybody yet?
Oh, I'm yelling at everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, we're trading everybody. I'm yelling about YouTube Trev growing his mustache back. I'm yelling about people smashing the thumbs up button.
I love it. McDavid's Holy Sock says thumbs up. And then also, I see Mike Smith is going at you with all caps. Is that Dusty in there or is that YTT? I think that's YTT.
It might be YTT too.
Okay. I see it. Let's go. And then apparently M. Materi says, I live 5 blocks off of White. Party at M. Materi's place. Evidently. Over to the inbox we go. KL texts in and says, great bounce back game. Telling me the Oilers controlled the game against a tired Avs team. Ekholm was an absolute force this game. When Edmonton plays good, you notice their defensive detail and sticking lanes. That third line with Kane looked great, but the second was invisible. Let's keep it going tomorrow. KL, very, very observational and keeps a keen eye on this team. KL has all those years that he was texting in at 1260. What did you make of the second line tonight with Nugent Hopkins centering Henrique and Warren Foegele?
Yeah, well, they were all right. I mean, they weren't. I don't know if they weren't as necessarily as threatening as the McDavid line offensively. They clearly didn't generate as much in terms of offense, but Tommy, they were still solid. They didn't give up anything. And that's important. When you, especially, I would say, especially when you have secured the lead and when you are now starting to try to stretch that lead and you had the third line that's chipping in, you all of a sudden don't need to start to extend yourself to say, okay, hey, we need to go make this a points night and get something here. So I thought they were fine. They were steady, Tommy. They were steady. I don't think they actually had a massive pile of minutes tonight either. I don't think. Like, they were actually used kind of sparingly, I would say.
Yes, Foegele 14:28, Henrique 11:35, Nugent Hopkins, no surprise, played the most out of all of them. Cast 17:33 time on ice, none of them with any points. Nugent Hopkins 3 shots as well as 3 hits. Henrique 2 shots, 3 hits, and then Foegele 2 shots, 1 hit. So Foegele ended up being a -1. The other two, Nugent Hopkins and Henrique, nothing in terms of plus minus. So it was a quiet night for the second line, but I don't know, Cass. Like I had this thought in my head, and it's like, hey, when you watch this team, do you expect points from every line every night? You know what I mean?
Well, there's only so many minutes and only so many goals you're going to score, right?
Right. And I know Donnie M's been on Ryan Nugent Hopkins when he texts in and says, Tom, why do you like Nugent Hopkins? Because Nugent Hopkins is a good player. Foegele has had a good year. It's a career year. Henrique is on the cusp of a career year. at this time of year against certain teams, guys contribute in different ways, and I will stand by that 100%. It's not always offensive, even for guys who are known to be offensive players. They can adapt their game in certain situations, and I feel like this might be one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You didn't need them to score tonight.
Simple as
that. You got
that.
6 goals, right? Again, there is only so many minutes in the game. There is only so many goals that are going to be scored. So, yeah. I mean, hey, I'm not going to nitpick them at all and be like, oh, that line was bad and that worries me. It's like, no, they played a dominant game as a whole, as a team, and that line was a part of it. I want to jump in a text into the nasty chatter message from Klima's led, because I think it'd be something good to talk about. Klima's led in and says teams are starting to adjust to our PP. Cass, should they adjust and put a guy in the bumper spot? So switch up the formation on the power play in the offensive zone. Well, a couple notes on that. Number one, Colorado did a good job of penalty killing tonight. They took a page out of Dallas's book and forechecked very aggressively. Like they went high pressure. And if everyone executes on a high pressure penalty kill, it can go very, very well and make it very difficult to actually generate anything. I don't think switching, because if you look last year, you look this year, Edmonton still got one of the best power plays in the league. Last year was historically the best power play ever. And this year it's still really good. I would like to see Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Connor McDavid shoot a little bit more, because I think that would open things up. I don't think it's teams that just, they all try to adjust. Teams have been adjusting for 2 years to it. It's not like, oh, they've already all of a sudden figured this out and now they can stop the Oilers power play. I don't think that's it. I think the Oilers at times are still, when they struggle on the power play, they do just try to force it a little bit too much, as we've talked about plenty of times before. And that kind of doubles even more so when teams are playing really aggressive, because it's like you don't have as much time and space.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to force it through spots where they shouldn't. And I think one of the relief valves for that is if you do have some looks coming from different positions, I don't think you need to switch to having a bumper guy, change your whole formation, keep the formation as it is. But when you run your plays, the first couple of plays, maybe you run them through Ryan Nugent-Hopkins a little bit more. Maybe you have McDavid walk off the wall a little bit more to shoot, just to try to make teams respect some of those other plays a little bit more than the Bouchard shot and more than the Draisaitl backdoor.
There you go. Cass, well said. 780-218-9999. Let's go to Mike in Thunder Bay, who's still up on this Friday all the way out east. Says, after the absolute miserable start to the season, it feels good to officially clinch the playoffs. Feels extra good to not just beat the Avs, but do it more than 1-goal margin. Great way to start the weekend. Are all the Doomers after the Dallas game changing their tune tonight? Mike in Thunder Bay. Yeah, a lot of happy folks, Mike in Thunder Bay. Shaggy in St. Albert says, important win in terms of bounce back after the putrid game in Dallas. Hope they don't take the pedal off the gas against Calgary. They seem to make a habit of believing their own press clippings after decisive statement wins. Think they can coast against lesser teams. Glad Kane got going with a couple of goals. Once they get second place locked up, they can bring in Broberg and Holloway for a few games. That's Shaggy in St. Albert. Larzy says, Cass is the bomb. His sarcasm is perfectly timed. Love it. And then Larzy likes the hair. Thank you, Larzy. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a good Friday night. Let's go to Shags, not to be confused with Shaggy in St. Albert. Shag says, Kaner gets off the schneid. McDavid outscores McKinnon. Oilers dominate. Great to see after getting shut out to another powerhouse in Dallas the other night. Can't wait for April 20th. Cass. One thing, and it came in with a text earlier, and I don't know if we're just forgetting it, but the fact that Colorado played last night in Mini, that's a 3-hour flight this way. They do gain an hour coming out of the Central Time Zone. How much do you think that had an effect tonight?
Well, it does have an effect on it. Of course it has an effect on it. How could it not? Playing back-to-backs with travel. With that being said, Edmonton still had to take full opportunity of the situation and take advantage of it. And they did right from the start of the game. They were really playing. And you did see times where Colorado pushed, and they're a good team. But, Tommy, all teams all teams have to deal with that at some point. All teams have to deal with it at some point. Is it tougher to win in back-to-backs? Yep. Is it tougher to win against a good team that's playing well like they did tonight in the Edmonton Oilers? Yeah, of course it is on back-to-back. So is it a factor in it? Yeah, it's a factor in it. But that still doesn't take away from the fact that Edmonton locked it down and played well and ultimately dominated its game and won 6-2. Now, it is on Edmonton to not have that deep sigh of relief going into Calgary tomorrow. And I'm happy that it's Calgary because you don't like them. And so there's a little bit of that animosity there already where it's like, it's not, you're not going to Columbus and playing like against a sleepy team. Like you're going against a team you really don't like those guys and you still really want to beat them, which I think is beneficial because there is that potential of too much of a deep breath heading into the second game of a back-to-back.
Well said, Cass. Shout out to the young nasties that came by and said hello while you were answering that so eloquently. And I wish you were here with me, Cass. Like the vibe is fantastic. Like it is. People are just having a great time. This is what it's all about.
We got a creeper staring over your shoulder right
there
now.
There he is. Yeah. Look at that gentleman. He knows he's being called out.
Yeah.
It's White Avenue. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. All right. 780-218-9999. Couple more texts and some nasty chats. Keep those coming in. Tom Gazzola, Matt Kassian, YouTube, Trev with you. I'm on location. Hudson's White Ave on this Friday where the Oilers pull off a big 6-2 victory. Dirty Curdy texting in says, DR sneaky sub looked excellent winning draws. Great stick drawing abilities. Unsung hero. Worm slithering about. Connor keeps shooting. Skinner locked in after a shaky start. Sugar Cane needed that. Play that sweet La Bamba. Ella, Dirty Curdy. Thank you for the text. This text says, how did Sean Walker do tonight versus CC? Exactly. Let's go to this one. It's from Matt. Huge playoff-like game. Boys need to play like that for the next few weeks. Play hard, good defensive hockey. You'll get the bounces your way. Can the playoffs start tomorrow, says Matt. And then Aaron, the accountant, texting in saying, listening in from TD Garden in Boston. Put it on the EST map. Absolutely love it. Cass, listeners all over the globe, and that's absolutely fantastic. All right, now I want to ask you this. Now that this is clinched for the Oilers, they know they're in the playoffs, probably second in the Pacific, if not third, likely against the Golden Knights. Is there a sigh of relief that comes from this team? How do they process this win? What happens next from the team standpoint?
Well, I'm hoping you're not spending too much time processing and you're spending your time preparing just to continue to get better, really. Now, it's nice thinking, probably not going to have to play the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, it's a good thing, I think, in the first round for me. Now, some people have made the argument that Vegas in the second round would be a lot harder than Vegas in the first round to beat because they have longer for, Hurdle coming back, for Stone probably coming back, and they might not be as prepared in the second round. But hey, you're going to give yourself a pat on the back. You locked in a playoff spot. But the reality, Tommy, is at this point, this team knew they were making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like they knew they were making the playoffs. Like there was no doubt in their mind or anybody's mind that they weren't going to be in the playoffs. Like things would have to go so completely crazy for them not to, that I'm hoping they're just not even worried about it. Right? You're not even worried about it. You're still looking at Vancouver. You're still saying, hey, we might be able to get to the top of the division. Probably not, but maybe. You're looking at the teams you're playing the rest of the way. There's some good, some not as good. And really, Tommy, every day has to be about preparing yourself for the playoffs. Now, you're there. You don't know with 100% certainty who you're playing, but you're going to be in the playoffs. So prepare for every game like you're going to prepare for the playoffs. That's where your mind has to be.
Cass, your message that I'm not going to read on the air is absolutely hilarious, by the way. I have to just say. Okay. Just let's get everybody up to speed. Edmonton has clinched a playoff spot after that win over the Colorado Avalanche. Let's get you up to speed on the standings and the out-of-town scores. Buffalo beats Philly 4-2 tonight in Buffalo. Carolina 4-2 winners over Washington in Raleigh. The Rangers go into Detroit and pick up a 4-3 victory. Seattle leads Anaheim at Honda Center 3-1, 9 minutes left in the third. And then the Arizona Coyotes trail the Vegas Golden Knights, 10 minutes left in the third. 4-2 is the score there. And as of right now, with the Oilers win, oh my God. Oh my God. I wish you could see what's going on right now. This is absolutely tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. People are having a good time tonight at Hudson's White Avenue. Yes. Yes. There we go. There we go. Edmonton with 97 points. Good job, ladies. Good job. The Vancouver Canucks, 102 points. Edmonton a game in hand. The Golden Knights, who are leading in their game right now, do have 92 points with 75 games played, playing their 76th. The Kings sit at 91 points through 76 games. And then Nashville in wildcard spot number 1 with 92 points in 76 games. So the Oilers 5 points back of the Vancouver Canucks with a game in hand. They do play the Canucks one more time. So you never know. Like Cass said, like you never know. They might make a charge there. Cass, how do you think the Oilers are approaching these last, 6-7 games here?
Well, like I said, you want to go in rolling, Tommy. You want to go in rolling. You want to go in feeling good, feeling confident. You don't want to go in on the skid. So it is just important that they just keep pushing. It's important that they just keep pushing. You got to be prepared. That's I know I've said that a few times, but you just have to be prepared every single night. Every single night, you have to be prepared and preparing yourself like it is the playoffs already. You don't want bad habits to creep in. You don't want to just to kind of think to yourself, well, we're in position kind of mostly probably secured. You don't want to have any kind of mental creep. Tommy, you got to prepare every night like it's the start of the playoffs because it's going to be here before you know it.
Yeah. Cass, I want to go to this one from Fat Dan and bounce it off of you. Fat Dan says he was watching the Avs broadcast, and the things that they hated were 1, the Ekholm hit, 2, they hated that he wouldn't fight after, 3, they hated that the goal also by Ekholm was allowed. Nice bounce back win, says Fat Dan. To the first 3 points specifically, what would your reaction be?
Okay. I mean, I just do something passive aggressive if it was actually a, Colorado Avalanche fan. I mean, the hit was clean. It was a clean hit.
Yes.
Clean hit. Good hit, hard hit. And I think, as you said, it wasn't. It was the landing on the ice and the falling that was the issue. It wasn't the hit itself.
Yeah.
So that's on that. Why does he need to fight if it's a clean hit? Doesn't need to. Why would he put himself in that position? If this was game 1 of the season, I'd be like, yeah, he probably should have fought. But we're late in the season. He doesn't need to risk a broken hand. He doesn't need to risk a torn shoulder, getting punched in the face. Like, why? Why for him? There's absolutely no reason, really, for Matias Ekholm to hit because it wasn't a dirty hit. Now, if he just crushed him straight from behind, sure. But that was a clean hit. Like, he went, and you can see from an angle standpoint, he went out of his way to make sure that he caught him in the chest, caught him clean, was not dirty. So who cares about the fighting? As to that goal, I didn't know which way that one was going to go when they went to review it. I really didn't. Now, my first thought was Ekholm was trying to stop. He couldn't really move. He was kind of being pushed. So there was nowhere he could really go. The contact that happened was slightly outside of the crease.
Yep.
Like the Grubauer's toe was slightly outside when he got bumped. So it was outside of the crease. He couldn't really go anywhere. He had someone on his back that was pushing him. And therefore, I think they saw enough that they said no. Now, I at least understand that one where people would be like, that should be goalie interference. Because of some of the calls we've seen, I could have seen that being called goalie interference. Obviously, I'm happy it wasn't. But sure, I'll let Colorado fans be mad about that one. That's fair. They can be upset about that. The first 2, yeah, whatever.
I know Oiler fans would be mad if it was the reverse and it was something. Yeah. I understand that. Now, I don't agree with it, but I understand it. I was surprised that the goal held up. So be it. They lost their challenge. They couldn't challenge the Kane one. That's the way it goes. But to follow that up, when these teams meet in the final game of the regular season, is it going to be a fiery game, or are both teams just going to kind of want to cruise into the playoffs?
I'm not sure, because it's going to be one of the two. You know, it's either going to be fiery or not. What it's not going to be is kind of mediocre, right? Like it's going to be one of those two things. It's either going to be completely calm, where they're just cruising in, no one wants to get hurt, or it's going to be full of emotion because they might play each other in the second round, or the third round.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it could go either way, Tom. It really could. I think it's too early to say. Part of it could depend just on exactly where the teams are at that point, how they've been playing at that point. So I think we're a little too far out to say exactly what that game's going to look like, because there's still stuff that needs to happen in between.
Yeah. Bunch of games left to be played. All right, Cass, quick preview of tomorrow. If you're the Oilers, you're riding the high of this game. You're going into Calgary after the win over Colorado. It is the Saddle Dome. It is a Saturday night. They're traveling tonight. How do they approach Calgary while still trying to enjoy this and take in the moment for as much as possible?
Well, you don't need to take in the moment. That's the key, Tom, is don't take in the moment. Don't take in the moment. You take in the moment, you take in the moment for 2 hours. You get 2 hours to take in the moment. If that. Take in the moment where you're after the game in the locker room, taking the moment while you're going to the plane, getting on the plane, and by the time you land, you need to have moved on. You need to be preparing and in mode we need to be ready for tomorrow. Like you need, actually even halfway through the plane, right after you eat, give yourself until you've eaten on the plane, and then just start to focus. Like you can't have a rebound back the other way.
Right.
You didn't play well against Dallas, played really well today. Can't have a letdown, deflating game against Calgary. Now, again, I said this already, I think it's good that they're playing the Calgary Flames, because the two teams really don't like one another. So what you're going to do, you're going to get your food, you're going to watch your video, you're going to get some sleep, you're going to start your process again tomorrow. But Tommy, it's move on. Yeah, you locked up a playoff spot. Great. You still got to get ready for the playoffs, because that's just one step in the ladder.
Yeah.
That's just one step in the rung, whatever, in the ladder. I guess depending on if you have steps on your ladder or if you have rungs on your ladder.
Right.
I know
what you're saying.
You play through the regular season, and objective one is you got to make it to the playoffs, because in order to win the Stanley Cup, which is the final objective, you have to make it to the playoffs. You've done that. Now it's about playoff seeding, it's about playoff momentum, and it's about getting ready to win that first round. That's what it's about. Now, you're not going to play Calgary in the first round. They're not going to make the playoffs. But what you need to do is you need to continue to prepare yourself for that first round. So really important, Tommy, just that they move on as quick as they can. Prepare for a team that you hate, that I don't want. I probably hate them too. Most everyone here in Edmonton does. And the Oilers, they don't like the Flames. The Flames don't like them. So hopefully it's brings out still some emotion for the Edmonton Oilers, where they're focused on tomorrow and not just patting themselves on the back.
Cass, you can pat yourself on the back and you can enjoy this one for 3 hours tonight because I said so. And because we as a team can enjoy it for 3 hours. Fantastic work as always tonight, my friend. The new camera looks great. Your mic sounds fantastic with the new camera. Yeah. And the insight and analysis, as always, top notch. I look forward to doing it again tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. right here on EST with you.
Back at you, buddy.
That is Matt Kassian, our game analyst, as the Oilers win it 6-2 over the Colorado Avalanche. A good time now to mention that portions of this hour brought to you, as always, by our dear friends over at 100.3 The Best Rock, or 100.3 The Bear, Edmonton's Best Rock. Listen to Nielsen with Yukon Jack and McCord every morning, and tune into Jess Jackson on your way home from work every afternoon. 100.3 The Bear, Edmonton's Best Rock. Let's get YouTube Trev on here. Where's YouTube Trev? Get on here, you greasy little guy.
What's up, buddy?
Where is he? There he is. No, I'm sorry, dude. I was like, I wish Trevor was here. There were 6 girls that would love you. They were all dancing.
Oh, wow.
They think I'm a sports nerd, and they're 100% correct. And I was like, if only Trevor was here to absorb and deal with this situation while I was talking to Cass about the stuff that matters. And that's a big win by the Oilers. What are your thoughts on tonight's victory, Trev? Because you were watching intently tonight.
Let's go, baby. The Oilers clinch playoffs. I'm pumped. I'm ecstatic. I remember the first time they did it. It took me 10 years to watch that whole season. I remember every game. I was just so, it was just so intense. And it was really, really cool to me. I was at last year's playoff clinching game where the Oilers defeated the Ducks 6-0. And fun fact, in that game, Leon Draisaitl got his 50th of the season. The Oilers clinch the playoffs tonight. He gets 100th point of the season. So kind of cool, and it was awesome. And so the Oilers clinched the playoffs again, and I'm as are the Nasties. Like, let's go Nasties. Leave a like. The Oilers just clinched playoffs. I'm so excited. I cannot wait for playoffs, and this is why I moved to Edmonton. Like, I still remember my first experience down at the Moss Pit and just Jasper Ave and seeing everything. I was in awe. Like, I'm from a small town, and it was the most people I've ever seen in my entire life. I can confidently say that. So we're almost back. I cannot wait. Yeah, I'm so pumped. I really am. And they did it in convincing fashion. It was I could just sit back and watch the game. Like, I was the second goal, they were ahead 2-1, and I was like, that wasn't the best, but they came right back, and it was such a good, just solid victory against one of the best teams. I've talked about it. If you're new to the channel here on the pre and post, I've been saying that the Avalanche is the team the Oilers have to beat, and they beat them tonight. So to answer your question the night to start the pregame show, do I have faith? Yeah, I absolutely have faith, and I have even more faith now. Just the fact that they won, but just how they won, Tommy. Like, they're stars. Like Nathan McKinnon, 1 shot tonight. Cale Makar, he didn't have a single shot on net. So it was super impressive how they just shut their stars down. It really was. I loved Matias Ekholm. We're gonna hear from him right away. Super cool. So yeah, I'm pumped, and I'm partying here just as much as you are, Tommy.
No, you're not. No,
not as much maybe, but yeah, it was great. So I'm in a great mood, Tommy.
I love it. Good way to start the weekend. The Oilers take on the Flames tomorrow night. Before we go into the Oilers locker room, let's get a couple more texts in, 780-218-9999. And then, of course, if you're watching on our YouTube channel, smash the thumbs up button. We appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And you can get into the nasty chat as the Oilers pick up a big victory to clinch their 2024 Stanley Cup playoff berth. Let's go to Chase now. Chase texts in and says, I knew after that start of the season that the Oilers could still come back, and they did. G-Dog the Hog says, I really like how McLeod plays with Kane and Perry. I wish Knobloch would just let that line ride and get a role like tonight. He can play bigger with those two. Normally, he doesn't. Perry and Kane are like big brothers. It helps. McLeod, huge. G-Dog the Hog, I'm with you. I talked about that a bit on the pregame show, that you're a young guy, young centerman, and you have 2 veterans like Kane and Perry on your lines. Of course you're going to feel 1 or 2 inches taller and that much tougher, 10 pounds heavier, whatever. You're going to have that little shot of confidence, and you're starting to see it a little bit when he's got those guys with them. I like it too. Let's go to Displaced Yukoner, who says, if this version of the Oilers can show up for the playoffs, could be a long playoff run. Yes, sir. Displaced Yukoner, absolutely. Andy Pandy Texan says, Tommy, having Ekholm in 2024 kind of feels like Pronger in 2006. Big, mean, can score, has a rocket of a shot is what Andy Pandy meant, and makes people pay the price in the D zone. CeCe was excellent tonight. The good news is that the Oilers put the Avs to the sword without Nugent Hopkins, Hyman, and Draisaitl being heavily influential. Others stepped up tonight. Great to see from Andy Pandy. All right, so you heard Andy Pandy saying Ekholm in 2024 is like having Pronger in 2006. Listen, Ekholm's a hell of a defenseman. He has a huge impact on this lineup. Had a great game tonight. Pronger was a beast. I can see where Andy Pandy is getting that from. If Ekholm plays like that night in, night out, look out, my goodness. And speaking of the Viking, he did chat with the media following the Oilers' 6-2 victory.
Effort from everybody, whether it was on the back check, whether it was following plays up on the ice, joining the rush. I thought we had a pretty complete 60 minutes tonight, and it was really nice to see after obviously our game in Dallas that we didn't like one bit. So when we play like this, we're tough to handle.
How did you see your hit on Trev?
I mean, first of all, I hate to see that he was stumbling getting out of there. I never want to hit anyone so that they get hurt or injured or anything like that. But I've seen the hit about 15 times in intermission. I cannot see anything different that I can do. I think it's a shoulder on shoulder. The play happens so fast. I usually just go looking for the puck. I usually don't hit that much, and it just happened to be that he wasn't expecting it, and I thought I mean, even if you look on the replay, like my skate, I'm stopping right before the hit. Like I could have gone right through him, but I thought I let up, and still it's hard for him when he doesn't see me coming, right? So hopefully he'll be all right, but in my opinion, it was a hockey play.
And in that situation, I mean, obviously they're going to try and react. You kind of kept your cool in that moment. You end up on a power play. Like, is it just a matter of not feeling the need to fight after what you feel is a clean hit there?
I feel like every situation is different. Obviously, it's timing of the game. It's obviously who comes and asks me. There's a bunch of factors that goes into that. But I think I saw a quote from, I think it was Chara way back when Boston was going at it with Toronto, and there was a big hit, and he was the first guy there, and the reporter asked, why didn't you jump him? And his answer was, to be a leader in this league and to be a player that plays a lot of minutes, you also got to read the situation, and knowing that we had a power play coming up there, we almost snuck a goal in there, and sometimes that can be as effective as just dropping your gloves for no reason. I thought that the hit was clean. If I hit him in the head, I get it. I got to respond. I got to answer the bell and all that stuff. But in my opinion, that's kind of what went through my mind.
On your goal, when you went to replay, were you thinking, why?
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, because Leo made an unbelievable pass, and I think for the last 2 seconds of that play, I'm trying to get my stick towards the puck, and I just can't do it because I have somebody climbing on my back. So I'm trying to move and make a shot, but I can't get a shot off. So in my opinion, I'm getting pushed in there, and I'm not going there. I guess I'm not going right at him. I'm going on the side, but there was no chance for me to avoid contact at that point, and I think the rule stands that way, where you get pushed in or helped in there, it's supposed to stand. So nice to see it do that.
It's making the playoffs with 6 games left or something like that, considering the way you guys started. So what does that mean to be able to kiss the playoff spot here for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge, obviously, with the start, and we were just, at that point, we were just looking to, hopefully we can clinch in the last game. So to have it done right now, to be in a good position going forward here is huge, and it's a big, I guess it's a big testament to the group that when we come together, when we play like we can, you saw a great example of it tonight. We're a tough team to beat, and hopefully we can keep this going and do some damage come the next couple months here.
You got 15 points in, I believe, it's like your last 10 games. Does it feel like everything's going right offensively right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I've never been part of anything like this. You saw the goal tonight. Like, it's when those go in, you're having some sort of streak or something's going on. So I don't know why it is. It's just I'm trying to play my best and trying to do what I've always been doing, but they just seem to go in a little bit more right now. I think I got 50 left for him, right? I think he's way ahead of me, but I mean, we play a little bit of a different role too. So he's obviously a top, 3-4 defenseman in the league. So to even be in the same conversation, I'm happy with that.
But if there was a time when playing Connor and Leon together against a team of this caliber might not have been the right call. Why is it different? Why did it work?
Well, at first you got to look at it. They had a back-to-back, and with that, we know that it's hard. It's way harder for them, obviously. But I also do think that you got to look at their lineup, and they have that first line punch, like that I think separates a lot from their other 3 lines. And when we put them together, I think we can match that. But I do still think we have some lines that can do damage. We saw tonight with Clouder's line; they played really well. So sometimes I think that's a good thing to have in the back pocket for these kind of matchups. And I thought tonight that paid really good dividends, obviously.
All right, there's Matias Ekholm, who had a big hit on Mikko Rantanen, knocked him out of the game. Like you heard there, he thought it was clean. I thought so too. Cass thought so. So did YouTube Trev. Ekholm wraps up the night, a goal and an assist, +1, 4 shots, 4 hits, 21-23 time on ice. And you heard him there too say he hopes that Rantanen's not too worse for wear. And it was a clean hit. Sure, the Avs didn't like it. I mean, Ekholm could have fought. Who was that went after him? Jack Johnson? Sure. But he's not really a fighter. So anyway, there you go. There's the Viking himself having a huge impact on the game in a positive way. All right. You know what we're going to do, Trev? We're going to go to Evander Kane next. If we can go to Evander Kane, let's hear from him. 2 goals tonight.
You talk about the longest drought of your life. How much of a relief is it when you get one, the old adage, no pitchers on the score sheet, it goes in, and how much of a relief was it?
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to end the streak tonight. It seemed like that was the only way it was going to go in, so I'll take it.
Then you score right away after. You guys got a lot of pucks on net tonight, and just like simple plays. Even your first one was McLeod just shoots it on goal. And your second one, 2 weeks ago that probably doesn't go in. It's just you kind of feel that's how it changes all of a sudden. 1 goal and now everything kind of goes your way.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, we'll see how tomorrow night goes, and just try to build on it from here.
Tell us about how you go 20 games. You got breakaways. You got one-timers in the slot. You got backdoor plays wide open. Nothing's going in. And then
well, I don't know about wide open, Mark, but
whatever. And then you get one in off your whatever it hit to go in. Mm-hmm. Is that how these things tend to go?
Yeah, I mean, you saw it with Brownie too, right? Goes off his foot, and then I think he gets a little hotter in the next 5-6 games. Usually when things aren't going your way, you're going to need a bit of a bounce to go your way, and that's what happened.
Did you feel? I mean, goal scoring is a big part of your game, but there's other things that you do too. How do you feel? Sort of the rest of your game has been rounding into form as you've been sort of waiting for this thing.
Yeah, just trying to do what I can, and like I said tonight, it was nice to get on the score sheet.
Well, Evander, at the start of the season looked pretty dire. At the start, you already clinched the playoff spot. How does that make you feel on the team?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, if you look in mid-November, late November, things weren't looking great, but I think as a group we had the belief that we know we can turn around and get in a roll here, and we did that and clinched the playoff spot. So it's a nice feeling, and now we got to try to win some more games to solidify home ice, and who knows, maybe climb in the standings.
There was a time when maybe putting Connor and Leon together against this kind of opponent may not have been the right call. It seemed to work tonight. Why did it work, and what does it say about this game?
I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not the coach, so you'll have to ask him. But we've mixed and match lines all year, and it worked tonight, so that was great. We needed to win.
Round one goes off a skate, and then he gets a few more. You get one off your leg, and you get one the very next game. Mm-hmm. Does the guy actually feel different, like when one goes in like that, or is a weight lifted? Why does that happen?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're going double digits while scoring, it's never fun. So, however it goes in, you'll take it.
Can you speak to the hit that Ekholm's hit on Rantanen?
Great hit. I mean,
big man. Big man hitting there.
Yeah, usually when two big bodies collide, somebody's going to feel it more than the other guy, and Eki's a big, strong guy, and it was a great hockey hit, and knock one of their top players out of the game.
You guys have been around the net as a line, you, Corey, and Ryan, the last few games. What do you like about the trio that you feel can really be successful moving forward into the playoffs?
Yeah, guys that obviously Pears likes to be around the net like I do, and Clouder, I think he's getting to the net as well, and good with the puck with some speed through the neutral zone. So just trying to find some consistency with whoever you're playing with and some chemistry.
There you go. There's Evander Kane. A couple of goals tonight. He's off the schneid, 21 without scoring. Had the one called back a couple of games ago, but they all count, and he got a couple tonight. The first one wasn't pretty. Second one wasn't pretty either, but it counts, and that's all that matters. So 2 goals for Kane in the win. He also finished with a +3, 3 shots, and he adds a hit. 14:47 time on ice, 66.7% on the dot, filling in, taking some draws. All right, 780-218-9999. Text us or hit us up in the nasty chat. Tom Gazzola live on location. Hudson's White Avenue. We have some kind of bridal party. They're dressed as like ladybugs or Tinkerbells. I don't know, but they're here to have a good time, and have a good time is exactly what they're doing. Great time, as always, down here at Hudson's. All right, let's go to a couple of texts before we go back inside the Oilers locker room. This one says, great game by Kane. Tomster, loved how Ekholm played tonight. Classic disturber. Go Oilers, go. No name on that text. This one from Russian Spa Guy says, Nuge is a beauty. Are we forgetting the back checks? Thank you, Russian Spa Guy. And then Andrew in London, Ontario, says, when the Oil move their feet for 60 minutes, no chance for the league. Was expecting a response like this after a solid effort in Dallas. I can't say enough about Ekholm. What a warrior. That's a guy you will run through a wall for. Knights sweep Flint on to round 2. Go Knights, go. Andrew from London, Ontario. All right. Let's go back inside the Oilers locker room. Trev, who are we going to hear from next?
He got 100 points tonight. Let's go to Leon Draisaitl. Here he is.
Bounce back from Dallas and what you saw and what you did tonight.
Yeah, much needed. Obviously not the team or the game that we are or we want to show on a daily basis. But that being said, these games happen. 82 is a lot of games, and you're going to have a couple of those a year. Most important thing is how you respond, and I think that's something over the last couple of years, including the playoffs, that this team does really, really well, is respond to poor efforts or bad games. So, yeah, very simple. I thought throughout the entire lineup, just really good game.
You guys had a couple of goals of winning off skates, winning off a leg. Is this kind of a case of making your own luck by going harder than that, putting the puck on there?
Yeah, we made some good plays before that, but we got a lot of guys on this team that they know how to score in the dirty areas, and they're good at it, and they find their ways there. So yeah, it was nice for Kane to get a couple, and pairs obviously was great. So lots of great performances.
That line's had a lot of chances the last few games. Just haven't been able to bury one. They get going. You got some guys that have potential to be a real important line in the way they play come playoffs.
Every line is equally as important. We're going to need that line to be good, and I got no doubt that they will be.
Considering the way you guys started, just to clinch a playoff spot today with a lot of games left on the table, what's it mean for this team?
Yeah, it means that we really buckled down after a really poor start, and there's a lot of resiliency and character in this group. It's only one step, of course. We know that, but it's a step that you need to do to give yourself a chance.
Can you give us a thought on Matias Ekholm, the offense he's providing right now? Tonight, obviously he didn't get hurt, but a big hit that changed the game a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, you don't want anybody to get hurt out there, especially head injuries, of course. But I thought it was a good hit. But he's obviously such a big factor for us. He's been so good since the day he got here. So yeah, he's been nothing short of amazing for us.
Yeah, there was a time when putting you and Connor together against a team like this might have seemed a little iffy. Certainly wasn't tonight. What does that say about this team and how far you guys have come?
That we got really good depth, and we got 4 really good lines that you can put out against anybody. Obviously a lot of times it changes from game to game or game plan to game plan, but we're a really deep team and group of guys that whatever role they get thrown at them, they embrace it and they do their job well.
You go back with this team in Colorado. You guys had a lot of battles. Is it something different when you play them? They know you know them. Nice to beat them and beat them convincingly.
Yeah, it's always nice to beat a good team. That's a really good team. They're going to be in the playoffs, and they're going to be good in the playoffs. So always nice, especially at home ice after a poor effort in Dallas to come back the way we did.
All right, there's Leon Draisaitl, who ends up with 2 assists, +1, 2 shots, 1946, time on ice, 73.3% on the dot. Edmonton dominant in the faceoff circle, 66.1%. They were excellent, especially getting that possession early on in shifts. How about this one? Really quickly, out-of-town scores. I know I said that the Golden Knights were leading the Arizona Coyotes. 6 unanswered for the Coyotes. I'm going to repeat myself. 6 unanswered goals for the Arizona Coyotes has them up 7-4, and now it's a final. The Coyotes knock off the Golden Knights. After being down 4-1, they rally with 6 in the third period at Mullet Arena. Who got the goals for Arizona? Josh Doan got the party started. He got the 4-2 marker. Nick Bjugstad, the former Oiler, maybe helping his old team out. His 22nd made it 4-3. Michael Carcone, he's got 20. The Paisan tied it at 4. Carcone again, second of the night, 21st of the season, 5-4 Coyotes. Then Josh Brown gets his second of the year, 6-4 Coyotes. And then into the empty net, Logan Cooley, 18th of the season, 7-4 Arizona, when being down 4-1 going into the third against the Vegas Golden Knights. My goodness, who saw that coming? Yeah, you saw that coming, YouTube, Trev. Are you sure?
No, I didn't see that coming. When
you didn't see that coming.
I was looking at it. I was just joking, but I was looking at the nasty chat. I was like, what's going on here? But yeah, 6 unanswered. Yeah, that's just insane. And I read it was in 8 minutes as well, hey, is what someone in the nasty chat put. So, look, these things happen. The Oilers, and I'd rather be in the Oilers situation where, okay, it was 4 goals that happened, against the Dallas Stars. And it's the Dallas Stars. It's a playoff team. This is the Arizona Coyotes we're talking about, Tommy. They did that to the Vegas, the reigning Stanley Cup champs. So that's embarrassing. So, yeah, that blows my mind, actually. But that kind of, just to put it in perspective, these things do happen, Tommy, right? It doesn't matter how good of a team you are. It's in the name of the game. Sometimes it's I don't know. It's weird, but it happens.
Well said. Well said. All right, we got the next order of business we need to take care of. That is the big save of the game, presented by Chris Boyle, business owner, tax saver. Chris Boyle strategically works with both businesses and families, strategic planning and risk management, like a goalie protecting the net, shielding your paycheck from unforeseen events like illness or hospitalization, and ensuring your family's financial stability in the face of unexpected circumstances. For a chance to win playoff tickets, if you're watching right now, scan the QR code in the bottom corner of your screen, or if you're listening right now, visit ChristopherBoyle.net/postgame show to get a chance to win playoff tickets. ChristopherBoyle.net/postgame show. And if you're watching, get that QR code in the bottom of your screen, and you could be on your way to a playoff game. But the big save of the game, YouTube, Trev, goes to who?
Yeah, Tommy. So there was 2 saves. I was really debating on 2 saves tonight. And it really all came down to, there was one which I think was a little bit more important. Miles Wood, he was on the breakaway on the penalty kill. I think that was probably the more important save, but I'm going to go with the nicer save tonight. I think it was a little bit more flashy. So that's my choice, and it was Nathan MacKinnon over to Mikko Rantanen, kind of like equivalent to Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl, cross crease, and Stuart Skinner, he flashed the leather. It was a really, really good save. I think Joaquin Gage would agree with me on this one. Yeah. It was absolutely, it was nice. He didn't quite catch it, but they robbed him, and I was surprised. I was like, sweet, okay, now I know my save of the game. And I was looking for a highlight, like them to watch the replay afterwards, but they didn't show it. But it definitely deserved a replay because it was a sick save. So that would be my Christopher Boyle save of the game.
Very nice, Trev. Very nice. All right, let's go to some more text. 780-218-9999. Oh, God, I miss going out. And sometimes I do not miss going out. And it's been an absolutely fantastic night down here at Hudson's White Avenue. The vibe is honestly legit. And shout out to Connor and his entire crew. I've had Amanda and Shayla helping me out tonight. Also, a big thank you to Big Norman at Combine, as well as his wife Tracy, VR Montenegro, who came down, and Richard Croft. Big thank you to some nasties hanging out with me, keeping me company, and it has been a really fun Friday night. It sucks that I'm working, but this has been a really great show, and I've enjoyed it thoroughly. All right, let's go to some text before we get to the player of the game. Let's go to Timber Woodsman, who says, boobs out. No, everybody's keeping their boobs in check, Timber Woodsman. It's not that late in the night, but the vibe is excellent. Don from Edmonton says, great show, Tom and Cass. Don from Edmonton. Thank you, Don. Appreciate that. This text says, Tommy needs a Jaeger bomb. No, thank you. I am good. Adam from Lloyd says 7-4 Yotes. Vegas crumbling in the third. My goodness, they do get the win, the Coyotes do, in a huge 6 unanswered goal comeback in the third period. Wow. This text from Library Pat says, hey, Tommy, don't look now, but Golden Knights coughed up the 3-goal lead to the Yotes. This one, I love this. I met these guys a couple weeks ago outside of Rogers Place. Absolutely fantastic. Great dudes. Let me clear my throat for this one. Clinch the playoffs, dickheads. Well done. Well done. This text comes in, says, evening, boys. Listening in from Cleveland. Put it on the map. Love how we cut down on shots getting to Skinner. Aggressive defense, giving no breathing room for shots on goal. Need to keep that energy up. This one from Gordo says, we did it. And I need to confess, I thought we were done after November. I was looking at potential high draft picks. Haha. I hope there are no more performances like Dallas. Great game today. EA says exactly what they needed to do against a team on a tough back-to-back. X marks the spot. Never would have expected it in November. EA, you and I both on November 9th when they went to 2-9-1 after that pitiful 3-2 loss in San Jose. I declared the season over. I'm more than okay with being wrong. I said it that night, I believe. And here we are talking about the Oilers clinching a playoff spot, well on their way to second in the Pacific. Maybe an outside chance of getting into first late in the season. All right, one more order of business, a few more texts. If you're up and you want to get in to the text line, 780-218-9999. We have the Damon Bunting Remax Elite Player of the Game. Damon Bunting, consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton, among Western Canadian RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. YouTube, Trev, take it away.
Tommy, I don't think there's really any surprise tonight, and it's been awesome because he's actually been getting a lot of the player of the games, like probably, I don't know, at least 25% of the last few I've done, and it's just such a treat to watch him every single night. It's going to Matias Ekholm, and I don't think there's really any surprise here, but he's been racking up these player of the games. Another just outstanding performance. We heard from him in the post-game interview. He's like, no, I've never gone through a stretch like this in my entire life. Then you look at the goal he scored, and he talked about it. So it's super impressive. 1 goal, 1 assist, +1, 4 shots on goal, but 2 just outstanding clean hits, both on the same player, Mikko Rantanen. It's just such a treat to watch, and I never thought that I'd be really drawn to watching a player like Matias Ekholm and just his defensive approach and how he does things. You know, I like the flashy players. I like the Makars, the Quinn Hughes, but I've really found an appreciation for the type of defenseman and player that he is. And if you just have your ISO cam set on Matias Ekholm for a night, you'll just be blown away. He makes things look so easy, and these are the best players in the entire world, and he's facing them every single night, and he's got the best plus-minus since he's been in Edmonton over a year now, and it's super impressive to watch. He's making everyone around him better. He's been such a strong pillar for Evan Bouchard as well. So, I mean, Ekholm is I'm blown away. I never thought that they were getting this player in Matias Ekholm, and maybe it's because he's overshadowed by Roman Josi. But yeah, I mean, I could listen to him all day. Everyone talks about how his post-game interviews and pre-game interviews, he's so unbelievably spoken. It's such a treat to watch. So Matias Ekholm, out of B, you got the player of the game. Good job.
Right, Trev. Right. Know it. I want to go into the nasty chat really quickly. Spency 5 Sensi says, Tommy, you cannot say on YouTube. There are children watching. I'm sorry, Spency 5 Sensi. Next time I will not say next time. All right, my bad. I'm having fun with the bleeping button. I'm glad I found it on this board. Matthew Wanek finally teaching me how to use it. All right, couple more texts as we wrap up the show. This John of St. Albert says, what time do you think the playoffs will be at, 8 or 8:30 or earlier? John of St. Albert, I don't know, somewhere in 8:15. Let's split the difference. Brandon from Windsor says, huge statement win tonight. LFG, mix in a water. Our boy Barron says, Tommy, can you explain to me what a piss missile is? No, I'm going to leave that alone for tonight. Cards texting it says, fellas, what a horse Ekholm is. My goodness, also amazing how this team went from young to middle-aged and veteran overnight. Let's look forward to catching Vancouver for first place. That's from Cards. This text says, EK, not Pronger, but I have said it before. We'll say it again. The best we have had on the back end since CFP. That's from Colorado Rusty. RBM sending in some gifts. Seaside Slug says, what a massive collapse by the Golden Knights. Third period, 4-1, they're up, and they lose 7-4. Fun to see. Great news for home ice. Feels all but wrapped up now. Kaiser says, hey, Tommy, the Oily boys were going tonight. I'm ready for some playoffs on the near future. By the way, the Swedish Wax is doing quite great right now. Thank you, Kaiser. Yeah, it's held up all day, and it's putting in some work, that's for sure. And then Justin says, Tom, what a game. Went with my awesome wife today. Oh, yeah. Right, Justin. That one's for you. All right, that's going to do it for the Oil Stream post-game show. The Oilers 6-2 winners over the Colorado Avalanche. That is a nice way to bounce back from that stinker on Wednesday in Dallas. Up next, the Calgary Flames from the Saddle Dome tomorrow. We're live on the air, 6:30 p.m. with the Oil Stream pregame show. Also, Hello Hockey, 10 a.m. We've got Tyler Smith, winner of the Amazing Race Canada last season, and my good friend, and he was also part of that Humboldt team involved in that horrific tragedy. But Ty will be joining us tomorrow, as well as David Pagnotta. Lots to talk about in the world of hockey. The Oilers, a big statement win over the Colorado Avalanche. For Matty Kassian and YouTube, Trev, I am Tom Gazzola saying, mix in water. Have a fantastic night, everyone. We will talk to you tomorrow morning. Ciao for now.